welcome to our little Getting Started Investing presentation with Shanoa Grove. I am not Shanoa Grove. I am her husband, and she is nearby, but she had something for lunch that didn't agree with her, and she's getting a little food sickness. So I'm the backup. I was also the keynote speaker tonight, so we're pretty well prepared. Although I will say I had the same lunch she did, and I don't feel that great either. So we have a third backup if that needs to happen. But what we want to do now is kind of get a little early presentation going and talk to you guys about getting started investing in real estate before we start our main presentation. And I'm going to start by asking you guys a question. Is anybody working on a deal? Let's talk about a deal. I'd like to do a little live coaching. Maybe we can find an opportunity together. Anybody working on a lead or working on a deal? Anybody? What do you got? Okay, can you come on up to the mic if you don't mind, so we can get you on here, and they can see you at home, and we can see you here in the audience. Okay, what is your name?
My name is Jeremiah.
Oh, there's a mic right there, if you don't mind. Right, straight ahead. There we go. Your name's Jeremiah?
Yes, sir.
All right, fantastic.
And
what's that?
Would you like me to bring the mic over here?
No, you're on the screen, and we're just wanting to make sure that folks at home can see you just like I can. So what's the deal you're working on?
It's a Denton, North Carolina property. It's fully gutted to the studs. And
what is it? What kind of property?
A single family home.
Single family home. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Do you have it under contract?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So have you bought it yet?
Yes, sir. I'm actually in contact with a buyer right now that's looking to purchase the property.
Oh, you're in, but so you have not bought it yet, or you're ready to sell it?
Oh, I'm ready to sell it. It's an assignment.
Oh, okay. So this is a deal that's mostly done.
Yes, sir.
Okay, no problem.
We're just waiting on EMD right now, and we'll send the title and escrow.
Okay. So I was hoping to find a deal that we could talk about getting done, but no problem, no problems. Tell us about your deal. What did you buy it for?
I have it on a contract for $45K.
No. What did you purchase it for?
I purchased it for $45K.
You purchased it already for $45K?
Yes, sir.
And then you fix it up, or you're wholesaling it?
I'm wholesaling it.
You're wholesaling it?
Yes, sir.
And then how much are you wholesaling it for?
I'm wholesaling it for $55K.
For 55?
Yes, sir.
So 45 to 55, 10K gross.
Yes, sir. And
how'd you find the deal?
I used a cold call.
Cold call?
Yes, sir. I paid
was it like a door knock or on the phone?
No, sir. I have a VA, and I have a VA in North Carolina. I have a VA here in Texas.
Okay.
And, one in Florida.
You're using a virtual assistant. What are they doing? Are they mostly setting up the calls? Like
yes,
saying,
sir.
would you like to talk to somebody?
Yes, sir. They're skip tracing for me.
How much do you pay your VA, by the way?
I pay them $10 an hour.
$10 an hour. Okay,
yes.
That's pretty affordable. So a little tip for the audience, virtual assistants can be very helpful to schedule appointments, to talk to prospective sellers. You can just give them a list, and they can go down through the list and call, and then set up appointments. Presumably, they set up appointments with you to talk to anybody that kind of wants to talk to somebody. Is that pretty much it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And then, but I will tell you, my experience with virtual assistants is you're not going to train them to do much. Probably the most you can get them to do is to schedule an appointment. Which takes a little skill of its own, but you're really not going to get them probably enough skill to negotiate a deal for you. That would be a highly skilled virtual assistant, and by the time you get them that highly skilled, they're probably going to go out and do it on their own, and then you got to go hire another virtual assistant. I'll give you a little tip though, or for any of you that are looking for potentially a virtual assistant, I have a number of virtual assistants, and I use Filipino virtual assistants for a couple of reasons. One, you can hire them for $5 an hour. And by the way, this is not like taking advantage of people. $5 an hour in the Philippines is like better than, that's like living high on the hog in the Philippines. So it's a considered very well good wage. In fact, you're going to get a college graduate for $5 an hour, sometimes with a master's degree for $5 an hour. I mean, that's how good of people you can get. The other reason I like the Philippines is they speak American English. We all speak English, but you can kind of tell where the VAs are from depending on their accent. You know, when somebody says, "Oh, my name is Bob, I'm from Texas," you're like, "Are you really from Texas?" You know, I'm not sure I believe that. But when you get a Filipino virtual assistant and they say, "My name is Bob, I'm from Texas," they really sound like Bob from Texas. So that's a source for virtual assistants. Does anybody else have a lead that they're working on? You got one? Come on up and let's talk about your lead. What do you got?
71 unit complex in Euless.
71 unit apartment building?
Yes, sir.
Is this, what age is this property?
76.
76, so this would be a Class C property?
Class C.
Does it need work?
They've renovated, not really, they renovated all units but 6.
Okay. What's the occupancy?
96.
96%.
96%.
So this is what's called a stabilized property. They're looking for a retail price.
Yeah.
What are you? Are you a wholesaler or what are you?
No, I'm looking at more of the value add for investors.
Are you a potential buyer then?
Yes, I'm a potential buyer.
Have you done commercial deals before?
No, that's why I'm here. I'm learning a little more.
Okay, no problem. Well, we actually have a commercial workshop coming up this very weekend. You might want to come. We're going to do it for free. Got 15 different multimillionaire commercial real estate investors from across the state of Texas talking about all different asset classes, including apartment buildings, Class A and Class C. So I will tell you, this is a stable Class C. Usually the play that we do with a Class C property is we buy it, make improvements, and sell it again. And that's how we make our profit. If it's 96% occupied and fully renovated, my guess is they want full price. So it's going to be a little hard for a buyer to make a profit on it. So how would a buyer make a profit on this? Any ideas?
Adding value to the property.
Like what kind of value?
Appliances, renovations, quartz countertops.
Okay. Well, something to look at. With a commercial property, it's not the same as residential, so I'm kind of teaching the whole room here. The way you determine the value of a house is by comparables. If you have 2 identical houses in the same neighborhood, same square footage, same age, same features, same condition, they're worth the same amount. That's how you determine the value of a house. With commercial properties, it's different. The value of a commercial property is a function of how much income it generates and its cap rate. Cap rates for similar properties are going to be similar, but how much income they generate will be completely different. So in other words, you could have 2 identical apartment buildings, completely identical, same size, same age, same condition, same feature, same rent, same number of units, but if one of them is 100% occupied and the other one is only 50% occupied, the one that's 50% occupied would be worth much, much less. So the way that generally we make money on these properties is we buy them and then we increase the net operating income, right? And how do you increase the net operating income? You do anything you can to increase the income, rent and income, and decrease the expenses. So when you're looking at evaluating a commercial property to buy, you're looking at, okay, what are the opportunities to increase the net operating income? So for example, do you know what the rent rolls are like? You know, what do they charge for rent?
Yeah, they're at market rent-ish.
They're at market rate.
Yeah, I didn't see a lot of.
Okay, so one of the things we look like is we like a property that's under market rate. If all the competing rentals in the area are going for $1,200 a month and this one's selling for, renting for $1,000 a month, there's a great opportunity there, right? You just buy it, raise the rent a couple $100, and you dramatically increase the value of the property. So that's a great play. Another great play is to renovate the property and increase the rent. Sometimes you have a property that's kind of run down, especially a property like something built in the 70s where it's kind of run down. And as the leases come due, you know, as the tenants move out, you renovate the properties and then raise the rent considerably, usually up to market rates. If the property's already been renovated, there may not be an opportunity to do that. Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry, guys. I I just came from a job site, so I'm a little underdressed, so please forgive me. But so I think another part of it too is I think Phill was probably a little suspicious that you got a good price because you said it's 96% occupancy, it's all at market rents. What are they selling it for on a per door?
8.2.
Per door basis. Just want to get, because that'll help me.
Maybe one. Let me check that out real quick.
And how long have they owned it?
I didn't look into that. I should have probably. I didn't get too deep into it with the broker.
You were dealing with a broker? That's perfect.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Okay, yeah, good. And then I guess the other part is how are you going to raise money to be able to get, and that might be why you're here.
Yes, yes.
So we do have to stay. I always say that I look good in orange, but I don't look good in an orange jumpsuit, or at least I don't want to figure out whether or not I do. So one of the things about raising capital or syndicating for when it comes to deals is you have to make sure you have a relationship with the people that you are talking to in terms of talking to the folks you're talking to in order to be able to raise capital, because if you don't yet have a relationship, then you're violating some of the SEC rules. I'm sure you look good in orange as well. I don't want to see you looking good in an orange jumpsuit, right?
Yeah.
So one of the big ways to be able to do that is to be able to do some networking, establish some relationships with people. There's no, like many things in the IRS code, like becoming a dealer, for example, there's nothing in there that says this is how many houses that you have to do before you're categorized as a dealer. They don't say like this is how many hours or minutes you have to spend with someone before you really have a substantive relationship to be able to pitch them to see if they can get the capital raised. And typically, do you have a key principal on it who's kind of coming in and with you, who's bankable, meaning somebody who can, okay, good, wonderful.
Yes.
So tell me about that person.
They're part of the Brad Simrock family. They got over 1,000 properties. Doors.
Yeah.
They just closed on one in Duncanville.
Yeah.
So they're kind of taking me and my partners under their wings.
Okay, good. So that's a big thing, is to be able to have someone who's actually bankable, someone who can raise, in this case, typically a raise might be anywhere from 2 to 4 million, and then ask the bank to come with the rest. Now you have to have key principals on there, people who have experience, and then also people who are bankable, meaning that people who already have relationships with local banks, typically, to be able to fund the rest of it. So getting those relationships to be able to fund that first couple million, you're typically looking for passive investors.
Yes.
One of my favorite places to go for passive investors is Quest Trust. I'm not sure if you've been there yet,
Nope.
but Quest Trust, they're a local homegrown Texas self-directed IRA company. So how many of you guys in here have a 401k? Yeah, so you can move that over to a self-directed IRA company and invest in things that you can know, feel, touch, taste, whatever. So for us, we have our self-directed IRA over at Quest. They're actually just right down the street here, right on Montfort. And for us, we have a lot of our old 401k money now invested into multifamily syndications. We have them in single family rental properties, and we also do loans to other real estate investors. Quest Trust has about $2 billion, probably at this point maybe $2.5 billion under management of people just like me, people with old 401ks turned self-directed IRAs who primarily like to use it to invest in real estate, although you can invest in many different things in your self-directed IRA. So that might be a great place to be able to go and find people who are maybe looking to invest a little bit more passively, because typically that's what you're looking for. Like, you're not typically looking for the person who wants to fix and flip their own stuff, right? You're looking for somebody else who's interested in doing it passively. So
You said Questtrust.com.
Questtrust, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
And that's where I'm struggling too, because
that's the perfect
I'm
place.
going to family members, a lot of, some college buddies,
Yeah.
alumni that I know that
Yeah.
are a little more on the wealthier side.
Yeah.
Just trying to build that relationship even more.
And how long do you have to close? How long were you given to be able to
So
close on
it actually already closed. Well, it was under contract, but it fell through
Okay.
with the buyer because he already, I forgot the time. I'm still kind of learning myself.
Okay.
But he added multiple properties. That buyer had multiple properties that he was already buying in Dallas.
Uh-huh.
So I guess his equity wasn't there anymore.
Is
And if
debt to income probably?
debt, yeah. So
that property just fell through in his hands, and the broker gave me a shout. He's like, "Hey man," because we toured it.
That's nice.
So he's like, "Hey man," and I was like, "Yeah, let me jump on it."
Hey man, you got a couple million laying around. This is like what you ask everybody, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what you need to
anybody.
be asking everybody, but yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Quest Trust, great place
Quest
to be
Trust,
able to
nice.
find folks, as well as our Facebook page for Texas REIAs. I want to say we got about 15,000 people who are on that Texas REIAs Facebook page. Great place to be able to. And again, you know, you have to be very careful in terms of, you know, and then, you know, it's but it is good when you make an announcement like that, because usually what happens is you become a little bit of a magnet, so people might pop up to you and say, hey, let me hear about, let's create that relationship, because I don't want you in an orange jumpsuit either.
Yeah.
And then go from there. So what was your name? I can't
Sergio.
see. Sergio, thank you for sharing, and congratulations on your deal, guys. And then I'm going to go ahead and play a little commercial for our real estate investors.
Would you like to be a real estate investor in Texas? Come to one of our free local meetings to get access to free training, wholesale properties, capital, and power teams. Click on the link below to find a meeting near you and register for free.
And guys, I'll go ahead and ask if any of you have another deal that you want to talk about tonight. Anything that you're working on right now that you're a little stuck on? You're working with a seller, you're not able to get the seller to move, you're working with a seller. Come on up, yeah, if you don't mind, yeah. And we have the youngest investor in the room who sounds like he or she is below 1.
Oh.
How old is the youngest investor? Let's see him or her. Oh, 2.5. Okay, I couldn't see. Okay, that's awesome. All right, so now all of you guys know that you need to, you know, step up your game, right? So it's good to start young. I'm so glad you guys are here. I'm sorry, what's your name, sir?
So, hey, it's Rahul.
Arami?
Rahul.
Rahul? Yeah,
hey.
Tell me what you're working on.
So actually, I just moved here from New Zealand 2 weeks back.
Oh, wow,
So-
because that's the next obvious choice, right?
Oh, yeah. It's like,
Yeah. I'll tell you, New Zealand makes my favorite supplement, Athletic Greens.
oh, yeah. they
Anybody
got
else take
quite a
Athletic
few
Greens?
supplements there.
Yeah, they're absolutely the
Yeah,
best.
they're like the best
Absolutely
ones.
the best. But beyond supplements and beyond Texas being the next obvious choice for a New Zealander, tell me what you're working on.
Oh, so actually, I've got the 2 properties. So one in Cache in Garland, and one is in Irving. Actually, I'm still learning these suburbs here or cities.
That's okay.
So one I got is 2,700 square feet for 412K.
Okay.
And that's like finance from third party. That's non-QM lending, right? You guys call it here, I guess. So that's on 7.5%, and I paid 30% deposit on it.
Okay.
And the other one is just the cash sale, like I just paid cash for it.
Okay.
And then it's both are flippers.
So what's the ARV on the first one?
Oh, what's ARV?
What's ARV, after repair value?
Repair value will be around 30.
Hold on, you just scared the crap out of me. Did he just scare the crap out of any of you guys? He didn't know what ARV is, right? So to me, that's like, so you're already like, I'm buying all these properties, but I don't know some of these, and it could be just like, you know,
Yeah, it must be that.
you know,
Yeah.
New Zealand's are just really, you know, what is that called?
It's totally different from
British. What is it? What's the El Arroyo thing? Is something like New Zealanders are just British Texans with
Yeah,
just a
pretty much.
different accent.
Yeah.
So yeah. But okay. So what's the after repair value after you go to fix that
So
property?
it will be around for, like after talking to the agent, he said it's gonna go up around 100K for the 412 one.
Okay.
So that will be around 520.
Okay. And what does it need in repairs?
Or it's pretty much cosmetics at this stage.
Okay. Okay.
And I haven't got any documentation on it, so.
Okay. So
I'm
then, what
just-
are the repairs it needs? I'm sorry.
It's pretty much the carpets, paint job, and the kitchen to be redone.
Okay. So who's going for this right now? Who's worried about him besides me? You're worried
Who's
about
worried
him?
about me?
Why are you worried about him? I am too. No, he's got the specifics, but he just you bought this property off the MLS?
Yeah.
He brought the property off of the MLS. He just told you guys he got a deal off the MLS. How many of you guys believe this? Someone says, I mean, it's possible. Who said that? Okay, you're the one guy. You and him. You and him. It is possible, but it's good luck with that. So Highly improbable. Thank you. Highly improbable. So I'm suspicious of a couple of things, and it's like, you know, welcome to real estate investing. I think you just got screwed. But that's how I'm feeling right now. To be honest with you. So, you know, a house that just needs carpet and paint is usually not going to go for under a market value. A house that just needs carpet and paint is probably going to go at or above.
So that's my
price.
fault then. I thought you were talking about the property, how it's going to appreciate. So that's what I was talking about.
So are you going to hold it long enough to make that magic happen?
Probably like 6 months.
6 months. Okay, so in 6 months, this market will probably go up somewhere between 10 and 20%, right? 15 is probably a pretty safe bet. Yeah. But typically when we're buying at what we call 70% of ARV minus repairs. ARV is standing for the after repair value. So if a property, for example, has an after repair value of 500,000 times 70% is 350. If it needs, let's say, $50,000 in repairs, typically you're buying it at 300. So everybody understand how that math works, right? So we use 70% of ARV minus repairs. Another example, 400,000 is the ARV, 70% of 400,000 is 280. If it needs 50K in repairs, that means you're offering 230, okay? Now, if you're using that formula, typically you're making somewhere between 10 to 15% of the ARV in terms of your profit. Now, your profit will be 10% versus 15% depending on your cost of capital. And I think you said you got a 7.5% interest rate loan. Is that?
Yeah, this one correct.
Okay, yeah. So you're going to be probably cutting it right in the middle. So you got about a 10% profit when you're borrowing from a hard money lender at 15%, you know, 3 to 5 points. You've got about a 15% of your ARV for profit if you're bringing your own capital, and you have basically a zero cost of capital. So you're kind of cutting it in the middle, but you've overpaid by it pretty substantially. So you have to, you know, you can make up for any mistake that we make in overpaying. How do we make up for that? How do we make up for that? We just have to hold it long enough for the property to go up in the, you know, in value, right? So that sounds like that's what you're committed to do. That 7.5% interest loan, is that a 6-month loan, a 12-month loan, a 30-year loan?
It's 6 months at this stage, and they said I can extend it if I want to.
Okay, and then what are the extra points you'll pay at the extension?
Oh, that I don't know. I'm only hoping to keep it for 6 months. So
Okay.
Because I'll be bringing more money in, so my.
So you're new to Texas, but are you new to real estate investing?
No, I'm not new, because I have like few rental properties back in New Zealand.
Okay.
So I do that. I renovate by myself, like I'm a painter and stuff like that. So I save money there. So.
Okay.
And then just rent them out.
That makes me happier, because sometimes I find like the newest people in the room are like, well, of course my renovation project is going to take half the time of what everybody else is saying, because I'm brand new at this. And of course I'm going to have a wonderful relationship with my contractor, because, you know, we've done so many deals together. And, you know, of course I'm not going to run into any surprises, because, you know, this is like, you know, I'm new to this market or new to whatever. So those things kind of, you know, surprise me. Those things make me a little nervous for you. And I'm speaking not from, you know, the motivational speech is now over, just in case you guys are wondering. We can go to the rah-rahs. I'm sorry. I'm literally like among, you know, the members of the Real Estate Investor Association, I'm commonly called Dr. No, Dr. N-O, because no one will crush your deal like I will. But I'm also called Dr. No, K-N-O-W, because every time I look at a deal, I do best case, worst case, most likely case. And what I find is that most brand new real estate investors are only looking at the best case scenario, and the best case scenario on steroids, right? Where they have the highest ARV, they buy it off of the MLS, right? So they're the one guy who's able to find, the two guys, pardon me, who's able to find that deal off of the MLS, going to get it done faster than anybody else. The market's going to appreciate faster than anybody else. And we are in an incredible market and an unusual market. And I'm excited that all of you guys are jumping in right now, but I feel like so I started my investing career in 2003, and having kind of lived through, invested through, survived and thrived through 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, before the market changed back over in 2012. You know, my perspective is that I saw a lot of people jumping in, and 04, 05, and 06 and thought, well, the market's always going to go like this. And I think that is a little naive to think that the market's always going to be like that, right? And I think that there are different factors that are going to help us continue this market the way it is right now. In fact, what we'll do tonight as part of the REIA meeting is we'll do a market update. But I also think that there are some unknowns, right? Like I'll never forget 2 years and 3 months ago when I was doing my monthly market update, I said one of the X factors, so this is February of 2020, I'm like, one of the X factors is this coronavirus, right? It's like, I don't know what's going to happen here. And we have some X factors going on right now too. It's hopefully it's not that we're starting World War III on the other side of the world right now, but sometimes these things make people a little nervous. Take a look at the stock market, take a look at how interest rates have started to kind of plunge people's viewpoint of, the stock market as well. So I will say, guys, when you're in, and right now we are in a 10-year run in the real estate market. So our market turned around in 2012, so we're 10 years in, and a typical market cycle is 3 to 5 years up, 1 to 3 years down, 3 to 5 years up, 1 to 3 years down. So we're 7 years past what is typical for us. So, and I'm not trying to say that, the shoe's going to drop tomorrow, because I don't think that's the case at all. And I think this market has legs to run for at least another 1 to 3 years, barring someone starting World War III, barring interest rates going up to 10%, even though when I first started investing, interest rates were between 7 and 8%, and at that time that was a good interest rate, right? But that does slow down markets, right? So if you look at historically what interest rates do to markets, usually you don't see any drop in prices. What you do see is a drop in volume. It's typically a short-term drop in volume, meaning anywhere from 1 to 3 months, depending on how long that takes for the people's mindsets to be able to work themselves out, right? But I will say, guys, be careful. You don't. The trouble with the real estate market is you don't know when it's hit its tipping point, and when it does. And I remember doing short sales for hundreds of real estate investors back in 2008, 9, 10, and 11, who got used to I'm trying to think of the word. Got used to the easiness of the market, and then started to double down and double down and double down, and then got into a situation where they couldn't sell fast enough, right? So that's how that typically happens. So what I would recommend to you is I'm stoked at your interest rate, number one. And I also, you said, how much did your hard money lender make you put down?
30%.
30%. What is that? What did that hard money lender tell him when he told him he needs to put down 30%? What's the hard money lender decoder ring? The hard money lender said, you do not have a deal. I'm scared. I'm going to make you put down more money. That's what that hard money lender decoder ring should have told you. So they said, we'll give you a loan, because you believe in you, we want to believe in you, right? But we don't want to lose out in the process. So instead of being in a position where, we are taking all the risk on ourselves, we're going to risk shift it to you by asking you to put down $120,000, right? So that way, just in case you're wrong on your bet and it doesn't turn out the way that you think you do, we're not, as the hard money lender, in the losing position. Now, I'm going to tonight. I'm going to say a little prayer for you. It was Sergio, right?
Rahul.
Rahul.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. You're Sergio. I'm sorry. So we'll spell that for us.
Rahul, R-A-H-U-L.
R-A-H-U-L. Please. So I know some of you guys do like prayers, right? Put Rahul in your prayer. I'm serious. Like, I'm going to say a prayer for you, because I want it to turn out the best for you, but you're making me a little nervous. So thank you and welcome to Texas,
Thanks.
my friend. Yeah. All right, guys, we're going to get up the next part of the presentation. If you'll just give me a second here. And just give me one moment.